What is going on, everyone? Welcome into the Tim Warren Show. It's a special morning live session here covering the markets of what's going on in Bitcoin, in crypto, in the stock market, in gold. We're going to take a look at a couple of those charts. It is going to be a shorter show, and the reason we're live this morning is because this is the final show with this background. This afternoon, the reason I'm not going live at 3 p.m. is as soon as I'm done live here, I am loading up a U-Haul truck, and I am moving to my new house. Monday, we will be live with our new location, new background. So those of you who remember sets we had in the past, the OGs, glad you guys are still here. If you have always watched our show with this background, say goodbye to it. Today is the final video, the final show you will see with this background. As far as Bitcoin is concerned, remember yesterday we told you guys, hey, there's a chance that we have a little bit of a pullback here. We talked about some order blocks lower that would be some good support. It looks like we've lost them temporarily, although the day isn't done. The candles aren't closed yet. I'm going to go into those details, but there was a spark of hope that did happen this morning. I'm going to cover what that spark of hope is and why there is still so much optimism, but we need to continue to be vigilant and careful, watching the charts, studying the news. A lot of good things out there. A lot of things to be excited about when it comes to future price action, but you still want to prepare yourself for the crazy manipulation that could unfold. I'll explain that a little bit more. Hopefully, I think today's show is going to be a 20 to 25 minute long show. I will not be doing Q&A, but let me know in the comments. I am live right now. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking as I'm talking. Maybe I'll reference you. It looks right now, if you guys vote and poll, I will do two altcoins technical analysis. There you go. Chainlink and XRP are leading, but if you want that to change, go vote on that poll. I will not act on that until the end of the show. So stick around all the way until the end. Smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. As always, let's take a look at what's happening on the charts as we are speaking. Bitcoin is kind of playing with 90K right now. You guys know, and it's not going to pop up on my chart here right this second because we're down below it. Oops, excuse me, wrong button there. We did talk about some order blocks right in this camp around 90,600. We haven't necessarily finished. Oh, actually, let's see here. I think we did close them. We did drop below those order blocks. Why? Because we did close the 4-hour candle here within the last 3 minutes, right there at 90,000, pretty much 500, give or take what chart you're looking at. So that is a pretty important piece of information. I'll tell you what that could potentially mean here in just a couple of seconds. There was this weird scam wick. It's not happening on any other exchanges. Coinbase dropped to 88,300. It didn't happen across others. For example, you look at Binance. Usually it's Binance chart that has the weird scam wicks. Binance had a scam wick up to 98,900. A very key level of resistance that we've talked about on this show. That was a big order block on the daily chart that it would have rejected on. Let's see it, let this load for a second. So some weird scam wicks happening across different exchanges. Yeah, it actually went above that order block we talked about the other day. Coinbase didn't necessarily do that, but then you come to these lower levels. Binance did not have any lower scam. Coinbase did. So a lot of chaos still shaking out, but a big move is going to come. I still think the big move is going to be very bullish, but a lot of chaos is shaking out right now on these charts. Let me know even right now in the chat, in the live comments, what do you guys think about what's happening with price action so far? Before I jump back in and go more detailed, let's break down the news as to what has happened this morning that's causing some of the chaos, some of the violent up and down movements here. This is a big detail. PCE numbers. By the way, if you don't know this, PCE numbers are one of the biggest factors into how the Fed decides, is inflation in trouble or not in trouble. PCE in line with expectations. The core PCE printed lower. What does this mean? PCE in September was 0.3 month over month. It was also 0.2% core PCE on the year over year. And I think 2.8 for our year over year, even though the expectation was 2.9. So there's a couple of things to kind of play out here. Technically, PCE actually went up. Last month, it was at 2.7, but people were expecting it to be 2.9 or 2.8. It matched or slightly beat expectations, which does leave us kind of with a bullish outlook saying that the Fed is going to cut rates. This did not affect the markets almost whatsoever. Polymarket's still giving us a 94% probability that on Wednesday, December 10th, the Fed will cut rates by 25 basis points. This should be keyword should be, bullish news here. Some other things to be aware of. Indiana has introduced a bill to allow public investment funds to invest in Bitcoin ETFs. The institutional adoption just keeps on rolling on that front. Some other things I want to kind of mention here as we kind of move into some other conversation is Tom Lee has continued to iterate. He believes that the bottom is in. Now, Tom Lee is a man that I heavily respect. I like Tom Lee. He has a history of being more accurate than he has been here more recently. He's been very bullish. And of course, he was wrong about October. Then he was wrong about November. Now he's saying the bottom is in. We should expect a major rally to end the year. Listen, I love Tom Lee, and I am bullish like he's bullish. I think it's a little too premature, though, to say that the bottom is in. And one of the reasons why is because we continue to unpack stories like this. Now, I'm going to be a little confusing here because you're going to say, Tim, you just said this is a bad story, but everything I'm about to say about it is going to be good. Let me break it down, and I'll kind of identify why I think there's some concern you should have. Justin, JPMorgan values Bitcoin at 170K midterm targets. A big price prediction JPMorgan is now giving us. If you're wondering what I mean by midterm here, I'm not talking about the midterms like in fall of 2026. I'm talking about pretty much what JPMorgan is saying is their next major level to watch once we get to new all-time highs will be up at 170K. What do we call this, everybody? It's a price prediction, or in other words, an opinion. JPMorgan is dropping a bullish opinion this morning. Don't overlook that. Let's cover some other big details from their report. Major points from the JPMorgan report: $1.44 billion cash buffer covers all payouts for 3 years. We're talking actually right now about the MicroStrategy thing right here. So I think I kind of mistyped this in here. But anyway, $1.44 billion cash buffer. It will cover all the payouts for 3 years. After 3 years, as long as MicroStrategy, the ratio stays, the MNAV ratio stays above 1. Currently, it's at 1.13. There won't be forced selling of Bitcoin, so this is good news. And if MSI retains the MSTR on January 15th, Bitcoin may rebound. If not, the impact is most likely priced in, according to JPMorgan. Go off my screen here for a second. Smay, again, today's a shorter show, so I'm going to be a little more brief here. We have seen pessimism from JPMorgan come out near what was the bottom at this point at 80,500. That now, as we've got a little bit of a rally back up, all of a sudden, JPMorgan is giving us an opinion that they think Bitcoin can make its way in the midterm up to 170K per coin. They're sitting here saying, hey, MicroStrategy, remember we said things are really troublesome? Actually, it's not as bad as you would think. And as long as they don't get kicked off of MSCI, we think Bitcoin can recover in January. Again, these aren't facts. These are opinions. Anytime an institution or an entity like JPMorgan starts laying out opinions, it does make me kind of question what's actually going on. I'll continue to maintain I think things are bullish, but it is looking like this morning we're going to see a bigger pullback here on the markets. Let me kind of talk more about that. We had that defense at the 4-hour chart. We had the defense around 90,600, but I told you guys yesterday, if we lost that, it would go much lower. Right now, what I would be watching is this trending level of support right here. And I'm looking down here in the realm of $86,000 to $87,000 for a higher low. If that gets lost, all of a sudden, forget what I said earlier about being able to make it back to 100K before a big major correction. The bottom might not be in, and the top might have been here closer to 94. Of course, Binance chart is going to say the top was this little wick right here up at 98,966. But most exchanges do not have that. This right here is the index, so it kind of takes into account all the exchanges and gives an average price. It did not give us a scan wick in either direction. Coinbase and Binance were the two weird ones. Either way, right now, it's very much looking like the 4-hour sell signal that came into play. Instead of being invalid, it's looking like it wants to make its actual move. And I would put the targets for it down here again. 86 to 87K are going to be some very interesting levels to keep an eye on. One of the reasons why I also would say keep an eye there is because of some fixed range volume profile work that I was doing here this morning. Take a look right here. 87,000 is the point of control since that bottom right there, that 80,500 bottom up to where we currently have been. The point of control is coming in here at 87,000. It'll be interesting. We're hovering right now in a volume gap, and there's another volume gap here at 85.6. So watch those as well. But this whole range, I'll kind of just draw a box right here. This range right in here, from where we currently are down here towards 86K, is going to be something to keep an eye on. Let's lighten this up here. There you go. That little range is going to be something to watch for a rebound to happen. If it doesn't, and if we lose this green line of support, all of a sudden that 74K Bitcoin becomes much more likely in the next couple of weeks. But like I said, this to me kind of still feels like a misdirection move. I'm not saying that the bottom is in, but I'm also not yet saying the top is in just yet. We can stay above this green line, keep the higher highs and higher lows coming. We're going to get rate cuts here in less than 1 week. I think this is a little bit of a misdirection move. There are some responding things happening with gold and the stock market. Let's take a look real quickly at what's happening over here. S&P 500 having a nice little morning here today. It has wicked back down, right? We haven't sustained the bullish move, but so far the S&P 500 opened up higher than yesterday closed and has maintained its bullishness. Gold was doing, quite well here over the grand scheme of things. It has actually dipped here with Bitcoin, so that's very interesting. Let's see if silver did the same thing. No, silver is actually holding up pretty well. Silver has a nice day going for it so far. So I see this more right now this morning as misdirective moves. I don't think you want to read too heavily into Bitcoin now coming down here below 90K. I think what you're watching is just the volatile movements leading into an FOMC week that still should be bullish. One of the reasons I'm still bullish, and I know I'm bouncing all over the place here, guys, but stay with me. You're not changing the longer term movements. The MACD, the RSI, the oscillator here that we use with flow signals, it's still giving us some great positivity on the daily front. The weekly chart is still very close, very, very close to hitting a weekly buy signal. What we know, though, is that in these moments of perceived, I don't know what's happening next, what's the chaos happening, volatility shakes people around. And that's why you always want to be a little cautious when it comes to stories like, like this one right here, where all of a sudden, as we've had a little bit of a rally going, JPMorgan is coming out extremely optimistic, extremely bullish. I wish I had a crystal ball, everybody. I wish I could tell you, hey, this is the exact move that's going to happen. I don't, though. But what I'm seeing overall is there's still a lot of positivity from the short-term and long-term movements for Bitcoin. I just know manipulators like manipulators like JPMorgan heavily utilize these reports to shake some people out. I'm looking now, again, for lower levels to come in here. For Bitcoin, I am going to start looking, now that we've lost that order block, I am going to start looking down here towards 87 to 86K for Bitcoin. Now, before I move on and do some altcoin technical analysis, wanted to remind you guys, today is the last day to take advantage of the sale from our VIP trading group. If you want to learn when I'm buying, when I'm selling, if you want to hear from other pro traders, if you want to get the indicators that we use to trade these markets for free, you do that all when you join the VIP trading group. And today at midnight is the last day to get up to 50% off our plan for the annual plan. Get 50% off when you use code BF50. Get 33% off when you use code BF33 for a 1 month plan, month in and month out for 3 months. Go act on this right now. You'll find the link in the description of this video, just right there. You'll see all the information. Go punch in those codes and act on it right now. All right. Let's go ahead and see what we have going on here. Again, Chainlink TA, it looks like we're going to have Chainlink TA, and I'm thinking people, it's kind of tied right now between SUI and XRP. We did some XRP the other day, so let's take a look at SUI here along with Chainlink. Let's start off with Chainlink, though. Chainlink, just like Bitcoin, is correcting. Again, very good day a couple of days ago here for Chainlink. Yesterday was a stall. Now we are having that correction. Why? Well, because we did get that 4-hour sell signal, and that did give us shorter-term targets. Let's see if we're actually getting close to these targets, or we still have a ways to go here. It's going to be a little bit different than Bitcoin because Chainlink actually outgained Bitcoin here for a little bit. While I'm waiting for this still. There we go. All right, so we're getting down here towards a fair value gap in the bottom of this smart trail. 1356 is going to be something to watch. Let's see if we get a bounce there. Otherwise, if Bitcoin does make its way down towards 87, 86K, the order blocks down at 1328 to 1310 could make some sense here for Chainlink. This doesn't change a lot of things. The 4-hour chart, just like Bitcoin, looks like it's still bearish right now, but getting closer towards giving us a buy signal. I'll be looking at these support levels and looking at these 4-hour buy signals to be my next spot to jump in. But we still have a lot of positivity out on the daily chart. We still are very close to having a weekly buy signal come in. All these things are keeping me extremely optimistic. We've been covering a lot of bullish news here for Chainlink, but right now, I would say the levels to watch as prices are dipping this morning. This seems like a misdirection move. I'd be watching on the high end, 1354, realistically 1328 to 1310 is where I'm going to be kind of fixing my eyes here for Chainlink. When it comes to a coin like Sui kind of had a very good day a couple days ago, just like Chainlink. Again, yesterday was a red day, and today has continued. We got an order block here on the 4-hour chart after that sell signal telling us the spot to keep an eye on, 154, and the lower level 150 should be very interesting to watch. Of course, clean rejection on this order block up here. I was not trading Sui, but we did tell some of our members, hey, if you're in Sui, watch that 4-hour order block, take some profit on it at 175. Turns out it was a good call right there. This indicator really does work. Now it's suggesting somewhere between 155 to 150 as the next support level for Sui. Are we long-term optimistic? Yes, we still are long-term optimistic as the daily chart still bullish with a lot of room to the upside still to go. And then you come out here to the weekly chart where we are getting dangerously close to that buy signal with, again, historical massive movements coming. I want to make sure I'm very clear here with people because I know you guys get confused. I cover both the short term, the medium term, and the long term movements here. Long term, close your eyes, buy crypto, walk away for years. Crypto has a very, very large bull market coming in the future over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. It is in the early stages. It's nowhere close to being done. In the medium term, we're talking about maybe over the next year, I'm still bullish. I still believe that Bitcoin and certain altcoins will be sitting higher a year from today than they are right now. In the short term, though, if I were to talk about the next day or two, it looks like some pullbacks are coming. And if we lose those key support levels we're talking about here, if we begin to even lose, let me fix this back again. If we begin to lose these order blocks, all of a sudden, those new lows, we don't have to wait for Bitcoin to hit 100K first and then come back down. All of a sudden, we're clearing it out now, which, to be fair, is actually quite bullish. I'm going to kind of close up with this. Let's just play some scenarios out here. I still believe there's a decent chance. That Bitcoin wants to reject on its 200 SMA first before making a new low. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's kind of still where I am. I still think that we could see a move like this where we bounce off 87, make our way up here, and then have another misdirection move either later in December or early in January. However, there's a part of me, and I feel like a part of you guys as well, that if we are going to make a move, if we have one more washout to clear out retail weak hands, and then we get to start the bull run, wouldn't it make more sense now? Wouldn't we want to clear this out now and then make our way back up to hit new all-time highs? I'm okay with either scenario. I have buy signals down at 74.5. If it happens while I'm sleeping, I will get entered into my trades. But it's going to be chaotic how this kind of plays out. The whole thumbnail and title today, there is a big move coming. But the manipulators, the whales, the institutions, they're playing with you right now. So stay vigilant. Keep watching support. Keep watching resistance. This is a risk management move. You buy certain levels and you set up stop losses just in case you are wrong. Right now, I remain bullish, but I remain a little concerned and a little defensive. I am looking for reasons to maybe get out of longs. And if I do, I'll buy it back here at lower levels. I apologize to anyone who came on here saying, Tim, you're supposed to just tell us all bullish things. You're supposed to just tell us nothing but all-time highs. No, I'm going to tell you guys the truth. The truth is there's a lot of reasons to be bullish, but when you look at these shorter time frames, these pullbacks make a lot of sense. And losing some key support levels up top, all you got to do is say, all right, we lost that support level. If you entered along there, cut your stop loss. You're good to go. You save some money. Buy on the next one. The next one, again, 87, 86K is where I'd be watching. Go off my screen here, Smay, as we close it out. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching here. Next week, I'll be back live at 3 p.m. New set, new location. Hopefully, crypto is doing quite well, but no matter what's happening, I'll keep you up to date every single day on what the biggest news is, what the biggest charts are. Here's what I'm going to promise you. I'm not going to promise you that you'll always have a perfect understanding where the market's going, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you my exact thoughts on the markets and prepare you for both bullish and bearish scenarios and strategies that you can use to make money no matter which direction the markets go. With that said, I'll see you guys on Monday.